Hi again folks, how you all doing? Well, what have I got here? This is a Hornby BR4 VEP Class 423 that was sent to me by Martin. He told me he bought this second hand, unaware it was DCC fitted. He swapped the original chip out with a blanking plate initially, but the lights didn't work. Martin also told me that the power car roof PCB became detached. He's replaced it, but the locomotive still didn't run. He replaced the rear bogie, which had dodgy pickups, but has now admitted defeat. Yeah, these models are fiddly and fragile and not for the faint-hearted, so best not to keep fiddling around with them. Let's turn on the power and see what happens. Well, all the lights are working, but there's no power to the motor at all. Pulling about 100 milliamps on the ammeter though. Can't shove this into the shed obviously, but let's get it to the bench and we'll have a wee look at it. This model scares me a bit, I have to admit. Alrighto then, we'll get a look at this. It does make me a bit nervous though. I like to see the couplings on this thing. It's a really nice 4-car set, but I'll just get the endoscope in here. So the car's all plugged together using these couplings, which have got connectors for the lighting. If you thought those push fit drawbars that had trouble with on that P2 recently, if you thought they were bad, get a load of these. Yeah, I don't think these are going to last long unless you're very, very careful. So it looks like we've got a motor bogie at this end. It's not a centrally mounted motor. And we'll get a look inside and we'll see what's up. But Martin has told me that there are wires that have come loose. So we shall have a look. Now it's going to play nice, coming apart. Oh, I think it is. Oh yeah, we're plugged in. So there's a PCB on the roof, and it's connected to another little PCB on the chassis there. Now you can see why wires could get broken very easily in this, because this isn't wanting to come out, this plug. Come on. There we go. Right, we get that out. And then we get a look at the circuit board there. Big capacitor. So we've got the motor in here, the wiring's in a little bit of a mess there. Maybe tidy that up. And we've got, oh, there's the broken wires. Yeah, we've got a loose blue wire and a loose white wire there. That appears to be the same blue and white wires going to the motor, so possibly just reconnecting those wires onto that little board might power the motor. So it's not quite as scary as I thought it was going to be honest, but yeah, this could go wrong in all sorts of horrible ways. So do that screw. I think we need to get this out. I think this is just clipped in. But I'd like to get it out because it's kind of in the road. Stuck down with black tack. Yeah, so there's a channel along here for the wiring. Right, so we've got motor 1, motor 2, so it's those bottom two. Actually, the blue one is still connected. So you can see that this blue wire is still connected to this terminal here, which is good, so that tells me that's where it's supposed to go. That wire is supposed to connect to there. So we'll get rid of the solder out of here and we'll resolder both wires on. Right, okay. This is going to be very, very fiddly, but we'll have a go at sorting this, and then we shall see if that makes the motor go. If it does, and the lights still work, then we're kind of solved the problem. But if it doesn't, then yeah, oh dear. So I managed to remove the solder from these holes. So I need to prepare these two wires and solder them into those terminals. Right, okay, can I get a bit more slack on this wire? Just a wee bit more. Don't like the way they're all scrumpled up down there, but we'll see. Let's see if we can get this working first. Right, strip the end of this. Right, okay. This is going to be really tricky with the tip on this soldering iron. It's a bit too big for this application. That's that wire in. Right, is that done the trick? Yeah, both wires are soldered on. Right, okay. Let's see if this runs like this. No, it doesn't. Doesn't do anything, which is no surprise. I'm kind of guessing it needs to be plugged in to this at least. Let's put this back on. Yeah, I can easily see why those wires have been broken. There really isn't much wriggle room. Get them in there. Right. I'm going to clip that in just now. I just want to plug this back in and see if it runs. Right, okay. So with that circuit board plugged in, even just temporarily, let's see if this goes. Yes, oh well, it did. Yeah, there we go. Oh, it's making some funny noises. Yeah, we've got pickup issues, I think. So it was running, but making quite a loud squeaky scrapey sound, which suggests to me that there may be a pickup issue. So let's unplug this again. The more I fiddle around with this, the more likelihood that the wires pop out again. Try this little tool, might just do the job better. There we go. Just check the wires. Yeah, I think we're okay. So yeah, it did sound to me like the pickups were scraping badly here, but they all look fine. They're maybe just noisy pickups. This has got traction tyres on it. Yeah, no, the pickups look okay. Okay, let's just clip this in. Yeah, it's a noisy one in particular. But that'll go away. It's that plugged back in. It's that piece falling out again. There we go. Right, let's plug it in to this. We'll do this on the track. No, I can't see what I'm doing. I just lifted this up to plug it in because I couldn't see the little terminals otherwise, and I didn't want to bend them. Right, what happens to this now under power? It's going, and the lights are on. I think we're sorted. It's probably about 100, 150 milliamps. So there we go. That was a lot easier than I expected. I really was anticipating a bit of a horror show there, but no, just a couple of wee loose wires on that wee board. Soldered them back on, and off it went. A bit of pickup noise, but there's nothing wrong with the pickups. It's just it's just new pickup scrape. It'll die off eventually. You could put a little bit of graphite powder in there if you were so inclined. Or even a tiny, tiny wee bit of oil is probably what I would do. But I'll just leave it. With running, it'll go away. So yeah, very nice 4-car set. Let's get onto the layout. So there we go, that's this Hornby 4 VEP Class 423 set running. Just needed a couple of wires soldered back on. Bit fiddly, but a quick easy repair, which is always a good thing. Yeah, this is a very nice looking set, but it's spoiled by that motor bogie with the square axle bearings in inverted commas. It's kind of similar to the motor bogie on my Class 153, which I'm not at all impressed by. It can be a bit sticky at times and doesn't pull away slowly. This model actually ran pretty badly around curves until I filed out the so-called bearings in the motor casing a little to allow a little more movement in the axles. That certainly improved it, but the model does still slow a little on curves, which I think is partly down to restricted movement due to the couplings. Another little problem I had with this was that the coupling here on the front of the drive car, this piece here, was hitting that going round curves, and it was causing the front car to lift a little going round the curves, and sometimes actually it was tipping it up, quite significantly. So what I did was I've fitted a spacer into there. You can just see it there. That's the spacer from a middle crankshaft of an old Hornby model. I fitted that on there just to lower this coupling down so it clears this piece here. But yeah, just another quality issue. Essentially mounted motor with flywheels, drive shafts and proper axle bearings and a different design of couplings would have made this a much better runner while probably doing away with the need for the traction tyres. I bet there's plenty of these out there with broken couplings and connectors and all sorts of other problems. Not a good quality model, I'm afraid to say. I believe Hornby did release a revised version of this model which hopefully addresses some of the issues. But there we go, job done, it runs. I shall get this packed up and sent back to Martin. Catch you later, folks.